Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Winter Meetings. I am your host, Stefan. With me, as always, is my partner in crime, the fabulous, the de-aged by at least 10 years, Craig Newton. Let's all give a moment of silence for Craig's beard as we get started today. Speaking of beards,
Good evening.
Winter Meetings is sponsored by my good friends over at Gunslinger Soaps. Handmade soaps and beard products made without all the junk to pamper your skin. You can go to their website, gunslingersoap.com, and sign up to get 15% off of your first order. And there's always free shipping over $30 at gunslingersoap.com. I have started using the Maverick Beard Oil. I was going to be sending some of this to Craig, but I don't know that I need to now. And I've been using their... Oh, I do? Okay. And then I've been using their Gunslinger soap, their main soap, for 6 years now. I started using it in 2016. Activated charcoal, great stuff. Definitely personally recommended. I actually selected them myself and approached them about this, not because more because I wanted free soap than anything else, but also because it's a good product. So definitely check them out, and I thank them very much for supporting what we do here at the Winter Meetings. So we had a lot to talk about. And I wanted to start off first with the Yankees-Astros series. This last 4 games closed out today. What an amazing 4 games in baseball. I painfully have to admit that I think this could end up being our ALCS matchup with how things are going. Realistic as much as I would love to say that my Sox are going to be in there. They're trying and they're coming back, but that's still a long shot right now. And I'm honest enough to admit it. Realistically, right now, we're looking probably Yankees-Astros is a great preview. 4 games, they did split them. Two notable stats out of this series. Last night, the Astros did throw a combined no-no against the Yankees. Absolute masterpiece of a game played by the Astros. The Astros during this series went 16.1 straight innings without giving up a hit to the Yankees. What are your thoughts, Craig, on this series? We'll get to Aaron Judge and his contributions because he did have the 2 games that the Yankees did win in this series. Judge did win them both with walk-offs. But we'll start with the series in general, Craig. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I can't stand the Astros, but I have all respect for Dusty Baker. That took a lot of courage to pull that young kid out that had a no-hitter going yesterday, and then that's what led to the combined no-hitter. But, I mean, he was thinking of the good of the team and the good of this young kid in his career.
Because he threw, it was what, 92, 93 pitches when he pulled
115 pitches.
Oh, he was oh, wow. Okay. So that's even higher. Okay. Well, because I know that today he pitcher today for the Astros, it was Urquidy, I think it was. Was it like he was at 92, I think, when he gave up that bomb to Stanton today. Phenomenal pitching by the Astros in this series, though. None of these games were super decided. Like even with the no-hitter yesterday, they only gave 3-0.
Yeah.
And that's that's pretty amazing in and of itself. As the Yankees stayed in this series, they have the most walk-off wins in the majors this year so far. They're at 11. It's actually only one of 3 teams that have gotten 10 or more walk-off wins before July in the majors. The other 2 being the Royals and it was the 2000 Royals and one other team that have done it. So it's pretty remarkable numbers that they're putting up. They're clearly right now the best team in baseball. And the best player on the best team in baseball right now is very clearly Aaron Judge. Won the game with a walk-off hit Thursday, walk-off home run today. He has 3 walk-off wins to his name this year. That is the most in the Major League. 2 of those are home runs, which is tied for the most in the majors as far as walk-off home runs this season. Aaron Judge is hitting over the course of the season so far 294, which is, and I can't stress this enough, absolutely ridiculous. 28 home runs, including the one he hit today, 56 RBIs, and an OPS of 1.013. Good God.
It's been a while since the Yankees have had a player that can carry a team into the postseason, and clearly Judge could do it.
This is an MVP season, clearly, at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking with my buddy Dan, who is definitely a Yankees fan, and I don't hold it against him. And he pointed out, I mean, it is entirely possible that Judge could start to struggle a little bit as the season goes on and kind of regress a little bit, and he's still going to win the MVP. And I said, he's right. I think, obviously, who's fresher in the mind and who has that surge after the All-Star break is going to be in consideration. So he needs to stay consistent to guarantee it. But I can't think of anybody that's a clear choice for MVP right now.
I agree. No.
And that really hurts me to say as a Red Sox fan. Like it causes me physical pain. The one shining thing is that Joey Gallo is still just absolute dog water. And that makes me happy because I was actually really disappointed when Boston didn't grab him when I found out he was on the market at the deadline last year. I was really, really mad that they didn't grab him. And now I'm really, really glad that they didn't. Oh, no, it wasn't Gallo. It was, yeah, because they picked up Gallo at the deadline last year. Okay.
Yep.
And, but some amazing baseball going on in New York right now. Because the Mets are one of the best teams in the National League as well, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And they've still got – I know Scherzer's still out. I don't think DeGrom has come back yet either. Can you imagine how much – Can you imagine how much baseball – there's going to be a lot of October and November baseball in New York this year. And I don't like that.
It's going to call to mind to the fans who are much older that recall back when New York, had the Giants and the Yankees and the Dodgers and the excitement that each of those teams generated just for the city of New York. I mean, the bragging rights for the city of the most exciting teams was New York, and here we go again now with the Mets and the Yankees.
Excuse me. No, and you're absolutely right. And it isn't something we've seen in a while. And what's crazy is the Mets and the Yankees share the biggest market in sports.
Yep.
And they are both very profitable organizations and very well run organizations. I love Steve Cohen. He's a great owner. Younger guy that's a great breath of fresh air for baseball.
He gets it.
He does get it, and he understands that he doesn't look at the luxury tax line as a penalty. He looks at it as a cost of doing business, and that's the difference in the mentality between owners like Steve Cohen and owners like Ken Kendricks of the Arizona Diamondbacks, or the ownership of the A's. And it goes on. But good for them. And I like that the Mets are staying consistent because this has been the problem with that organization. Because, the Mets are consistently the best team in baseball for the first 3 months of the year. But by the All-Star break, they're already fighting for they're already have lost or fighting for their first place position, and they don't recover from it. But this year, it definitely seems better, especially because of the fact that they're doing it without DeGrom and Scherzer. So once you see both of those pieces come back in, I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with because that's going to be one nasty-ass pitching rotation.
I think a lesser team would – you lose those two pitchers, it's devastating.
Absolutely.
And a lesser team, may not have fought so hard to stay relevant, and the Mets are doing more than staying relevant.
Yeah,
got to hand it to the manager and to the front office. I mean, that team is really good.
Absolutely. And it's It's nice to see it, and they're one of those teams when they have a good blend of building through the draft and grabbing free agent pieces, which is I think it's important to do it that way because these teams that try to just build through the draft are never going to have all the right pieces at the right time.
Well, there's one team comes to mind that would say nay to that, and that'd be the Dodgers. They just continue to draft and get
Right.
better and better through the draft.
They
can trade away their draft picks and get stronger with better free agents. I mean,
well, but that's the thing is they blended is what I'm saying. There's not really very many teams that. Oh, I didn't even realize these were behind my head. There aren't that that they blend it. And, but we've got teams that just say, oh, we're just going to build through the draft. You're not going to win games like that.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because you need a nice blend of veteran experience. And then it's always, and the other thing that we see is more common than not recently, the team that makes the best move for themselves at the trade deadline when they're making that push is usually who makes the deepest run.
Yep.
And you got to have a couple of road warriors, man.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. All right. So next, I want to transition. You said you haven't seen the video on this.
I have not seen the video yet. I cannot wait.
I'm very interested in your reaction to this here. So so earlier today, there is a brawl between the Mariners and the Angels. It started last night. The Mariners closer, I believe it was. It was in the ninth inning. Threw high and inside on Mike Trout, went behind his head. He was kind of pissed off after the game. And then this happened at the start of the second inning. And they're trying because they had been warned in the first inning as well. And Winkler is very clearly not happy here after getting hit. And there it goes. And these guys are going. Look at that. Yeah. This is not a chest puffing. This is
there's no bowing up on this one.
No. We don't get to see brawls like this very often, which made it very interesting to me. There's a total of 8 players ejected in this game for this brawl. Let me see here. I'm trying to grab the list while this is still going because it's a very interesting video. It really is. And it was Raziel Iglesias that threw high inside to. Oh wait, no, never mind. It wasn't. Let me see here. Okay, so the last Angels interim manager Phil Nevin and Scott Survey were both ejected. Angels lost Wentz, Iglesias, and reliever Ryan Tepera, while Winkler, Rodriguez, and J.P. Crawford were tossed for the Mariners. It was it caused about an 18-minute delay in the game. Adam Frazier came in for Winkler, and Jose Suarez was on the mound for the Angels when everything ended. Man, I've always wondered something though. When you have a bullpen that's way out in the outfield, like this one was, you could see the bullpen guys running in. If the bullpen guys are going to fight, they should just fight out in the outfield and save their energy. Seriously, that's just inefficient. Come on, guys. Give us a couple of shots. The outfield fans want some entertainment too.
I'll tell you, in talking to some of the bullpen Giants players, I won't name names, but I will tell you that the comments were they really were hoping that by the time they got there from the bullpen, that it had all quieted down.
Because
there
they
were
didn't want to
very
have
few that
to.
wanted to dash out there and get involved.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to get hurt when you're doing that too, and I think that's kind of one of the things. And I think that's probably why hockey's really the only sport that really goes all in on these brawls. They're just like, all right, yeah, well, okay, now you guys are going to spend 2 minutes in the box, and then we're not going to do anything about you coming back out and going right back at it.
Well, the problem with today's brawls too is that a lot of the players are the same agents, and their former teammates, or the days of us versus them are gone, and stuff. So it's refreshing to see this type of brawl. It's very, very refreshing.
It is. It is very refreshing. But no, and you are definitely correct in that, because there is, there's so many players that now, I mean, because things change so often, players go from team to team. A lot of guys have the same agent. Like, I'm pretty sure Drew Rosenhaus has like 25% of the NFL.
He does.
Like, it's interesting, but but at the same time, it's, these guys, like, more than not often now, it's like, no, we're just at work, bro. We're just at work. Like, this ain't, Costco and Sam's Club lining up in a parking lot next to each other with kendo sticks and tasers going, all right, let's go. No, we're just at work, bro.
Remember Anchorman? And they're all in a fight. Not in the face.
That movie,
don't touch the hair.
Don't touch the hair. I have such a hard time with Will Ferrell movies because I always end up liking him. But I because of my anxiety, like, sometimes with how awkward some of his stuff gets, it's actually like it causes me physical issues to sit, and I have to like watch it in pieces the first time to get through it. And then once I understand everything, I can go back and sit down and watch it all the way through. Like, it took me 2 years to get through Talladega Nights the first time. Like, that movie, like, and that movie is brilliant. I absolutely love that movie. It is my favorite Will Ferrell movie.
Yeah. Do you remember when he played all positions in one day, took a helicopter from team to team during spring training and played all 9 positions in one day. He did that a couple of years ago.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, he changed uniforms and he was catcher, pitcher. He did it for all the teams during spring training. I can't remember if it was in. When I say all teams, I mean all the teams that were in those camps. I just can't remember if it was Florida or Arizona. I think it was Arizona because I think the A's were involved also. A's and Giants were involved, so it had to have been Arizona.
That would have had to have been Arizona then. That's interesting.
Yeah. He's a big baseball fan.
Oh, and I knew that. That I did know. And a very, very talented guy.
Yeah, like, his Harry Carey is spot on. I love his Harry Carey.
Oh God, he's just got such an interesting way of doing things. And when he goes hard.
Yeah.
He goes hard.
Yeah.
And and Step Brothers. Oh my God, that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how any work would get done when you're trying to deal with John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell.
The outtakes have got to be priceless.
It's Robin Williams-esque comes to mind because you just start the camera and start the camera and let him just go. Just keep saying shit. We'll figure out which ones we're going to use. Yep. And there's outtakes that are on the cutting room floor where they're saying some of the most messed up stuff you can imagine.
Oh yeah, just to try and break each other up. Yeah,
that's true talent. But yeah, man, it's the Angels, man, and the Angels being like this, it's interesting to me because with everything that team has been through,
yeah,
I mean, we could see a huge surge come out of the Angels.
I think so. I think they didn't need a wake up call, but I'll tell you what. I mean, I think the light has been switched to green, and the brakes are off, and they're gonna take off. And of all the people to go after, Mr. Baseball, Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Face of Baseball, Mike Trout, who's never been an a-hole ever.
I agree. No, and that's the thing.
To throw at him? Oh, hell no. I'd go after him too.
And that's the thing is it's like they threw high and inside to him last night.
Yeah.
And then there was a return from the Mariners, like first pitch of the game, if I recall from the article, because I missed it. That one I actually saw the Brawl live. It was great. But the first pitch of the game, right in there was the one that was a buzz, and both sides got warned.
As a pitcher, I never threw at the head because I didn't have the control to do it. I'll throw at your ribs. I'll throw at your butt. I'll throw at your legs, but I would never go head high because I didn't have the control to, make sure that ball wouldn't hit somebody in the head or shoulders. And so, but to go head high on a player, that is definitely verboten. I mean,
it's that, and that's the thing is there is a, we talk a lot about the unwritten rules of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely one of those when it comes, for the most part, with the unwritten rules. Like, seriously, throw them out the window. But the stuff around not intentionally injuring a player is important.
Yeah.
We had Bryce Harper last night.
Yes. Yeah.
Took a 97-mile-an-hour pitch to his thumb.
Yeah.
And has a broken thumb. Like I remember I sent you the video last night. I'm surprised his entire hand isn't broken because of how fast that pitch was going.
Well, depending on how fast the swelling comes down. I mean, it reminded me of when last year when Brandon Belt tried to do a bunt against the Rockies and got his thumb broken.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was.
But I mean, and the pitcher wasn't trying to hit him. I mean, it was just a bad position for his hand position at the time, and he gets hit. And credit to Bryce Harper. And when you watch the video, and he goes off and he is pissed, and he's shouting at the pitcher. Then he immediately apologizes and says, "Hey, look, no, I was just venting. And the
pitcher, to his credit, was like, my bad. He was like, it wasn't
right.
Intentional. But it's
that
dangerous.
Could have gone real ugly too.
Oh, absolutely. I was like, when I saw the thing pop up that Bryce Harper got hit with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and I started watching the video, I'm like, all right, waiting for benches to clear. I was expecting it.
Yeah.
And Bryce Harper, like, no, you can't be mad at Bryce Harper for being pissed off right there. You get hit with a 97-mile-an-hour ball, you're going to be pissed. Like, it
hurts. Yeah.
I would be concerned for your psychological health if you aren't pissed with getting hit with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah.
And he handled it well. And I feel bad for the guy because he just got paid a bunch of money and he is trying so hard to just play his contract. He wants to play.
Yeah, he does.
And he keeps getting injured.
Yeah.
I feel bad for that guy. I really do.
He'll be out maybe 6 weeks. He'll be, maybe 8, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's a season ending.
It's not season ending, but I would say we probably don't see him until September.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
And the reason why is because it's his throwing hand.
Yeah.
If it was his if it was his catching hand, like, you can pad that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not like he's going to be taking a lot of heat into his glove. You can pad that hand and play through some of that.
Yeah. Because
it's in the glove. But when it's your throwing hand,
you've
got to be able to grip that ball right, especially where he plays.
Yeah, I lost a fingernail on a fastball in my finger. I was wincing when that happened. I was like, "Oh my god, that hurts." That hurts.
It's one of those things like in Bryce Harper, when he was interviewed after the game last night, I thought it was interesting. He said that he would have rather taken it to the face than to his hands.
God.
No, he's like, it's a lot harder to break a bone in your face than it is to break a bone in your hand. And that's where his money. He makes his money with his hands, and I think that's why he was saying it, is because it's like, I can come back from a ball to the face. Like Pete Alonso, he was only out 3 weeks when he took that ball to the face last year, 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
But it's versus this. Like I said, I doubt we see him back before the beginning of September.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And it's, I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah,
I really do. Let me see. Where is? I want to look at something really quick.
Did Mike Trout say anything after the game? Did he have any comments about being thrown at and stuff, or is he
today?
Just kind of?
Yeah. He last night after he was, last night after he was like, you don't do that. You don't throw at somebody's head. That's just not how it's done.
Yeah, good for him.
And that's why. Yeah, that's the way that you. It's completely reasonable to feel that way after getting thrown at. And especially for him, like you said, he's legitimately one of the nicest guys in the game. And
I guarantee you, if he'd been thrown at and hit the butt, or thrown at, he would turn into it, taking it, and there would not have been, hopefully no benches emptying, but he would have took it, But head hunting, no, that's
you can't do that, and I think that it is definitely disrespectful to do that to a player.
Absolutely.
And I don't like ever intentionally throwing at a player. That was always my stance as a catcher. I never once called for it. I woke a couple people up. I got some attention. But I never once was there ever intentional being called by me.
I was judge, jury, and executioner. I had a philosophy. It's always better to ask for forgiveness rather than ask for permission. So
it's and I get why it's it's a big topic in baseball, but ultimately for me, I don't ever want to intentionally hurt somebody. And
I don't want to hurt somebody. I just want to send a message.
Right. And that's where the debate comes in is what's the most effective way to send a message? Wake them up or make them feel it. It's a debate, but as long as nobody gets hurt, ultimately it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to be interested to see what the suspensions that come out of that Angels Mariners brawl is, because I think that we're going to see a few games come out of both sides, at least.
Oh yeah, at least 10, I'm guessing, maybe more.
Winkler's going to get 10 because he pushed the ump. He pushed past the ump. He was a very clear aggressor. Yes, he got hit, but he was a very clear aggressor in that situation.
Umps are hands off.
And yeah, you don't, no matter how much you want to hit an ump, I'm pretty sure that Angel Hernandez would have the nickname punching bag if we were allowed to hit umps. You can't do it, guys. You can't push him.
Oregon Donor would be his nickname.
Human backstop.
Yeah.
Jose Altuve's cousin. Anyway, but no, it's you can't do that. And so Winkler's going to get 10 games. I could see the pitcher getting at least a few. It's going to happen. All right, so this next topic is one I know you are very passionate about, and I'm very intrigued to see what's going to happen with this. Juan Soto is speculated, I guess is the word we'll use, speculated to be on the trade market at the deadline. The Giants are a team that are reportedly going to be very, very interested in Mr. Soto. So we'll start with the Giants. What kind of a package do you think that the Giants can put together that's going to sufficiently be competitive for Soto to land in the gayest city in America?
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash. A lot of it. Boatloads. Throw down boatloads of money. Yeah. Plus, they'll have a nice little $5 million condominium for him. It's within walking distance of the ballpark. They're gonna throw a bunch of money his way or Judge's way. I mean, they're getting one of them for sure. They're gonna get one of them for sure.
I don't think New York lets go of Aaron Judge. Like
I don't think so. I don't think so either.
Because New York's going to give him 3 to 325, and when that happens, and he's just going to make him pay because he probably said last year he wanted 275, and they were like, "No, we're going to give you 230," and he goes, "Okay, you're going to regret that."
Yeah,
and because now it's going to cost him more than if they had given him what he wanted last year, and that's exactly what he's doing. You can't have an AL MVP season and then not get what you want.
10 years, I think the Giants, 10 years, $50 million a year. I mean, for 10 years, I think would be no problem.
You think just throw him a Patrick Mahomes contract, $500 million?
Well, plus, there's a little thing called Silicon Valley that has some billion-dollar companies that would be happy to talk to him about investing his money and getting him set up with some nice little investments here and there that are friends of the Giants. And
I know that Aaron Judge is a pipe dream, and I respect that. I would love to see Aaron Judge in a Red Sox uniform instead of the Yankees uniform, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Juan Soto realistically is where is who you guys are going to get. And I think that it's going to be I mean, a cash deal is pretty realistic. How much do you think they're going to have to throw at it, though?
Well, like I said, I mean,
I don't know
if they'll go as high as $500 million, but I mean, you may.
I don't think Soto's worth that much, but you could. I mean, 250. 225, 250, somewhere there.
He's still young. He's still got lots of years ahead of him.
Trying to see.
It may involve a couple of prospects, maybe too. I don't know.
Oh, he is only 23. Okay.
Yeah.
They'll give him a 10-year deal.
Yeah.
Soto, I mean, and that's the thing is, I would. For the Giants, I think they're going to get more bang for their buck out of investing in Soto than Judge, because if you give Judge a 10-year deal, you're not going to get the 7 out of it if you're lucky.
Yeah,
and that's why that's why I don't think Judge's deal, even with the Yankees, is going to be like he'll get $50 million a year, but I don't think it's going to be 10 years. I think it's going to be a 7-year. Like if it's a 10-year deal, the last 3 to 4 years are club options.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds about right. Yeah. Now, I'm not ruling out the Dodgers also getting involved, but I mean they're pretty much loaded already, and they do eventually run out of the the money that they can just throw out there, the type of contracts.
Yeah, I don't think the Dodgers are going to be in on the Juan Soto contest. And when you look at outfielders, I could see Boston making a try for it, but I really want Boston to go for Trey Mancini at the deadline. Like that is my goal, is to see Mancini leave the Orioles and go to Boston so that he at least has a chance at a fucking ring. Freaking ring. That dude, if there's anybody that doesn't have a ring right now in baseball that deserves one, it's Trey Mancini. Like,
yeah, he's a great player.
Great player. Miraculous fight with cancer, got through it, and is back to being a professional athlete. Like, you can't hate the guy. Nice guy.
He's a front office dream. I mean, he's a Captain America for baseball.
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons why I think going to Boston would benefit him, because his name is going to be out there a hell of a lot more. So that brand and that impact that he has is bigger, and so you can, especially with his charitable works, because I know he does some amazing things, that really expands the potential for what he can do.
And imagine they could tie him in with the Jimmy Fund too.
Oh yeah, and they would.
Yeah,
they would. And I think that's the thing is when you have a guy like guys like Soto and Mancini, like they should be at a team that's more marketable.
Yep.
Not to completely knock the Orioles or the Nationals, but they are not the big market teams.
No.
And some of these guys deserve, even if it's just a few years, the ability to have that time on that big roster.
Well, the Giants are aging out, and they've got a bunch of youth just waiting in the wings to come up, and they're just going to get better and better. I mean, for those that follow the Dodgers, the father of the Dodgers dynasty, Farhan Zaidi, is now the general manager, is the president of the Giants, and is repeating exactly what he did with the Dodgers as far as strengthening up. The first thing he did is strengthen all the farm systems, and then strengthen pitching.
Right.
And the Giants are going to be a legit team next year for sure.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. And I think that's one of the things that I like about what the Giants are doing is they're building decisively.
Yep.
And I think that's really, really good. And I hope that and I definitely hope that it sticks. I mean, especially after last year, with the season that the Giants had last year, record-setting wins, and they didn't go as deep into October and they didn't go as deep in the postseason as some feel they should. I really feel like they need to get back to that point quickly and push through into that next level and make it to the World Series again.
Yep.
Because now was the last time they made the World Series was when they won in 2014, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. Beat the Royals. Mad Bomb. Kansas City was a madhouse for that 2 weeks during that series. It was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But if you're ever in Kansas City, Kauffman Stadium is a great spot to watch a baseball game. It really is.
Oh yeah, it's on TV. It's like a beautiful stadium.
It is.
Really does. It looks so clean.
They've done a great job with it for as old as it is. I think that the ownership that is taken over this year for the Royals, because somebody just bought the team. I think his name is John Sherman, if I remember correctly. I know Mahomes is a minority investor in the team. He comes down, like he was down here a little bit during spring training. He kind of checks some stuff out and hangs out and takes pictures and all of that. But they're pushing to get rid. They're pushing to get the ability to build a new stadium in downtown Kansas City. And instead of that open parking, because Kauffman Stadium sits right next to Arrowhead Stadium,
right?
They use the same parking lot. And if you and it's in a part of Kansas City where it's more open, you can tailgate, which I think is kind of a dying thing with some stadiums now, especially stadiums that are downtown like that. You can't tailgate.
Right.
You lose the ability to do that. And yes, it's great for those businesses that are in that area because people are more apt to stop and eat something before a game. Like anytime I go downtown to go to a Diamondbacks game, I stop at, because you can't tailgate at Chase Field. We just stop and grab something down there or grab something to eat on the way. So there are some economic benefits, but when it comes to memories of going to a sports game, tailgating is an amazing experience.
It is.
And you spend a lot less in the ballpark because you get really drunk in the parking lot. KC Barbecue was really born out of that Arrowhead parking lot. I don't think you have the quality of KC Barbecue today without that parking lot right there. But if they get to where they're downtown, you might have more indoor stadiums. So, those unfortunately bitter, windy Kansas City October and November time periods, if they make it to that point, aren't going to be as bad. Just being right there off the Missouri River, that wind, because it doesn't have anything to stop it as it goes across Kansas. It hits that river and it just turns to bitter, freezing, and bone-piercing cold. It sucks. So as far as the trade package is concerned, though, for Soto, do you think they're just going to send the Nationals money? How much? Or you like players? What do you think?
They might send a couple of players, but nobody that's on the Giants' top 10 list is going anywhere. I don't think. So it'd be maybe some free agents they've got stashed, down in the minors. I don't know, but there's a lot of cash coming their way. Yeah.
You guys spend money to make money.
Yep.
And so they're not going to have a choice because they need Soto desperately.
They haven't had a generational player since Barry Bonds, and Soto could be a generational player for the Giants.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's a fair assessment. Mad Bum, he was only there. Mad Bum was only there for what, 3 years, 4 years?
Right. Then let me amend that. I mean, not including Buster Posey. It was just,
fair. Okay. Yeah.
So.
And he's not there anymore. So they really don't have one right now. There's nobody that's really that really can take that mantle. And if you bring Soto in, you can absolutely use that as a team.
Yeah.
Because he's 23. So I think that's a very valid point. It's worth the money to give him 10 years, 40, 45 million, 50 million if he needs it.
Yeah.
You'll get it back.
Oh yeah.
You'll get it back.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I wanted to. So, can you think of any other players? Because we talked about Mancini, we talked about Soto and Judge. Are there any other players that you think could actually be a splash move at the deadline?
I must admit, no. How about you?
I can't think of anybody. Because even when I look at some of these teams that are going to be making a push, like every team in the AL East, with the exception of the Orioles, is going to be looking to buy at the deadline, guaranteed.
Yep.
because your three right now, potentially your three AL wild cards are all the second, third, and fourth ranked teams in the AL East.
Yep.
Kind of hoping that it's. I just want the Yankees to lose some games. Like, I know they're going to go to the playoffs, but I'd really like to have the division. It would be nice. I don't want to have to, like, wild cards have a much harder time making it. I want Boston to win the division. But I'm just a dorky Red Sox fan, so. Did you see the video of Freddie Freeman getting his ring?
Right.
He did not want to leave Atlanta.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
His that's why his agent got fired and he got a new agent.
Yeah.
He did not want to leave Atlanta. And that is entirely his agent's fault.
Yeah.
But they seem to be doing very, very well without him. They've kind of gotten past that Freddie Freeman hangover stage, and they've been, coming into their own.
They got through the Acuna, clubhouse, soap opera. He said, she said kind of deal. I mean, so yeah.
Do you think he's going to turn into a problem?
It's a good team. Atlanta is a good team.
Did I lose you? Oh, there we go. Okay.
There we are.
We're getting some storms. I don't know if it's me or not, but we've got some storms coming through, so that might be my fault. But let's do a quick check on league standings, just where everybody is at before we wrap up today. Of course, the Yankees have an 11-game lead on the Red Sox and are currently leading the AL East. They are 53-20 and have the best record in baseball. Minnesota Twins do still have a good lead on the AL Central. They are 2 games ahead of the Guardians. The Guardians have actually been, trying to stay in this, so it's entirely possible that we see the Guardians make a push there. I don't think we have to worry about the White Sox, the Tigers, or the Royals at this point. I had more hopes for the Royals this year, but unfortunately it looks like those were misguided. And then Houston Astros are leading the American League West right now at 45-27. They are 10.5 games ahead of the Rangers, 11.5 ahead of the Angels.
They stay injury-free. They're just going to coast in.
Yeah. Yep. The Yankees stumble and the Red Sox don't surge enough. It's entirely possible that the Astros end up with the number 1 seed in the American League. That's not out of sight for them. They just have to stay consistent.
It sure isn't. Yeah.
And then, of course, the second best team in baseball on the national, they are leading the National League best record. New York Mets are 4.5 games ahead in the division. They're 47-27. Milwaukee Brewers have a 1-game lead in the very competitive American League Central. Competitive because they're only 1 game ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals, who are starting to, find some consistency themselves as well.
Yeah.
Big shout out to what Boston did for Albert Pujols when the last night the Cardinals were in Boston. They're the only team so far that has done anything for Pujols on his farewell tour. Dodgers have a 1.5 game lead on the National League West and 6-game lead on the Giants. The Dodgers are currently 44-26. Other notable piece, the Yankees have a run differential of plus 144. The only other team that is close to that is the Dodgers at 130. The Mets, who are the, by record, second best team in baseball, their run differential is only plus 67. Like, that is how good the Yankees are doing right now.
Yeah.
But also, as a quick self-brag onto the Red Sox before we finish up, the Red Sox are currently on a 7-game winning streak. They did sweep the Guardians in that 4-game series, or 3-game series, sorry. Red Sox, Yankees, they got there's 2 Red Sox, Yankees series coming up in the next month. And the Yankees, or the Red Sox actually have 17 division games. 17 straight division games. This between now and the All-Star break. And then their first series after is against the Rays as well. So, yeah, the Red Sox
make a statement. That's a great time to do it.
Yep. And then this is how you start to make a push right before the All-Star break for the Red Sox in their schedule. This is what they have to do. I think you are right. What you predicted when we were chatting about Chris Sale. I think he's going to be back when the Red Sox play the Yankees in Boston.
Yeah.
It's like mid-July, I think is what it is. I think he's getting ready to start doing rehab assignments. Aroldis Chapman of the Yankees, I think he will be back within a week or two. He had a rehab assignment today, and they said if he pitched 1 inning, it was only ended up being 12 pitches because he's Aroldis Chapman. And they said if everything was okay, they were probably going to think about bringing him back up, completing his rehab assignment. So Yankees probably will have him back pretty quick. Anything else today, buddy, before we wrap things up?
Nope. I think we covered a lot today.
Absolutely. A lot. For it looks like Stefan couldn't make it with us. He probably forgot because he's old, and I'm going to make fun of him for it. He's as reliable as his pitching ERA. If he's watching, I'm going to get in so much trouble.
The following statements by Stefan do not represent myself, my opinions on this show.
But yeah, all right, man. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great night. And for those of you watching and catching us after, please make sure to go to Winter Meetings, Facebook.com/The Winter Meetings Podcast to connect with us. We'd love to see you. And again, a big special thank you to GunslingerSoap.com. Remember, you can go to their website, register, get 15% off your first order, and always free shipping over $30. That's GunslingerSoap.com. We will see you next week, Sunday night, 9 Eastern, right here, the Winter Meetings Podcast. Have a good night, everybody.